Few debates in gaming have lasted as long or become as passionate as one simple question. Who belongs with Cloud Strife? Is it Tifa Lockhart, the childhood friend who's been there since the beginning? Or Aerith Gainsborough, the flower girl who changes Cloud's life forever? It's a debate that's been going strong since 1997, and after finishing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I understand exactly why. Even though I knew many of the major story beats going in, the ending still hits really emotionally. That's the mark of exceptional storytelling. So today, I want to explore why this debate still matters and why, after Rebirth, I think the answer is clearer than ever. Spoiler warning for anyone unfamiliar with the plot of Final Fantasy VII, and more specifically, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. On the surface, Final Fantasy VII presents a classic love triangle. Cloud is caught between two very different women, but I don't think that's really what the story is about. It's about identity. Cloud spends most of the game trying to figure out who he actually is. He's carrying trauma, false memories, expectations, pieces of someone else's life. Until Cloud understands himself, he can't truly understand either relationship. That's what makes this story so compelling. Tifa represents Cloud's past. She remembers the shy boy from Nibelheim. She remembers his dreams, his failures, his promises, and more importantly, she remembers the person underneath all the confusion. Throughout the story, Tifa never stops trying to reach that real Cloud. She doesn't fall in love with the soldier persona. She loves the awkward kid who wanted to protect her before he ever picked up the Buster Sword. When Cloud begins falling apart emotionally, it's Tifa who refuses to let him disappear. Their relationship isn't built on excitement, it's built on history, trust, patience, and choosing each other over and over again. Then there's Aerith. She's playful, confident, mysterious. She has a way of pulling Cloud out of his shell almost immediately. Around Aerith, Cloud smiles more. He jokes. He relaxes. She sees kindness beneath all of his emotional walls. She challenges him in ways no one else can. It's easy to understand why players, and Cloud himself, are drawn to her. Their chemistry is undeniable. But there's another layer that makes Aerith's relationship with Cloud so fascinating. Zack Fair. Aerith loved Zack, and Cloud unknowingly carries pieces of Zack within himself. His memories, his mannerisms, even aspects of his personality. Whether intentional or not, it's difficult to ignore the similarities. Sometimes it feels as though Aerith recognizes pieces of someone she lost. That doesn't make her feelings fake. Far from it. People don't love carbon copies. But grief has a way of influencing how we connect with others. Cloud reminds Aerith of Zack, while still becoming someone entirely his own. That emotional complexity is part of what makes Final Fantasy VII so well written. This is where opinions will differ, and that's okay. There's no wrong answer emotionally, but for me, Tifa is Cloud's soulmate. Not because she's the childhood friend, not because she's the default choice, but because she's the one who loves Cloud after all the illusions fade away. When Cloud loses himself, she helps him find himself again. She isn't in love with the myth. She's in love with the man. That's a relationship built to survive. Of course, there's so much more to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth than its relationships. The world is enormous. Every region feels handcrafted. The gold saucer is overflowing with things to do. The Forgotten Capital is breathtaking. The game constantly rewards curiosity. Some players have criticized the sheer number of side quests. I actually think they're one of the game's greatest strengths, because they slow the journey down. They give these characters room to breathe. You don't just save the world, you spend time living in it. By the time the emotional moments arrive, you care even more about everyone involved. Then there's that ending. Without diving into every twist, the final confrontation with Sephiroth is spectacular. The visuals, the music, the sheer scale of everything happening on screen. It's one of the most memorable finales Square Enix has ever created. And it's difficult, really difficult. Those hours spent completing side quests, earning equipment, and leveling your party suddenly feels completely worthwhile. The game rewards players who invested themselves in the journey. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth somehow accomplishes something I wasn't sure was possible. It honors one of gaming's greatest stories, while making longtime fans question what comes next. It surprised me. It challenged my expectations, and despite knowing many of the original game's biggest moments, it still managed to make me emotional. As for the debate, I'll always choose Tifa. Not because Aerith isn't wonderful, she absolutely is, but because Tifa represents something deeper. She knows the real Cloud. She fights for the real Cloud, and when everything else falls apart, she's still there. Maybe that's why this debate has never truly ended, because both women represent different parts of Cloud's journey. One helps him discover who he could become. The other helps him remember who he really is. And perhaps that's why Final Fantasy VII continues to resonate nearly 30 years later. It's not really a story about choosing between two people. It's a story about discovering yourself. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Are you Team Tifa or Team Aerith? And more importantly, why? I'd love to hear your thoughts.